Generations of Dyad in the Force.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Dyad Reacts. We have some startling news hot off the presses. Chaco, what's going on, man?
Oh man, it's great news to get, on a Friday night to like carry into the weekend.
Yeah.
We got Hayden Christensen is going to reprise his role in Ahsoka. We knew he was coming in Obi-Wan. Kathleen Kennedy told us that last year, but he's coming into Ahsoka, and and by the way, this is coming directly from Hollywood Reporter, right? They know what they're talking about. This isn't Mike Zero. This isn't we got this covered. This isn't some random dude just trying to like yell stuff at the sky. It seems solid. They haven't steered us wrong. They're going to be tight-lipped, obviously, but I'm curious what you think. What might we get? You think we're getting flashbacks? We think he's coming back as Vader? What do you got?
Well, okay, so let's bring up the article really quickly just to see kind of what they're saying. It's of course an exclusive, so it's more than a rumor, less than confirmed, right? It's something that
More than a rumor. Sorry.
But it says that Hayden Christensen is staying in the fold of the Galactic Empire and will reprise his role as Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, in Ahsoka. Now, of course, we go on to read the rest of the article. They just talk about Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship, but of course there's not a lot of information about it, right? They're being tight-lipped, of course. They're not gonna comment on rumors and speculation. But in terms of your question, I think there are a number of ways they can go about this, including, as you mentioned, the flashbacks, which would of course require them to cast a younger Ahsoka Tano, or maybe a more recent flashback, because Ahsoka takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and so that would, if there was a flashback with Rosario playing Ahsoka, it would be within like the Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi era, where he is still alive. So it would be a flashback, but he's still alive. Then there's the Force Ghost. I think this is the more interesting path. I think this is the more interesting path for Ahsoka, simply because I think in Rebels on Malachor she had her kind of like moment with Anakin / Darth Vader, and that was it. And I think him finally appearing to Ahsoka in the Ahsoka show as a Force Ghost and kind of giving her that closure then is more impactful than just giving us like old stuff between Anakin and Ahsoka and just kind of like, hey, this is what happened in the Clone Wars, and like we're just revisiting that. Like Ahsoka needs that closure, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And of course, I mean, that means that it would be both. Because I want, and I've been talking about this forever, but I almost want, so he appeared to Luke as he was burning on the pyre, right? I want him the very next day, or maybe even before Luke. No, he's not doing anything before Luke, but for the next day, for him to appear to Ahsoka as she's doing something and like give her a hey Snips, something, some type of something. But additionally, we also don't know exactly when Ahsoka found out that Darth Vader existed. Now, when they fought in season 2 of Rebels, and even when at the season ender for season 1, when she sensed him, was at the beginning of season 2. Anyways, she didn't know who it was. So this is something I want to see from Obi-Wan as well, is when they see this big Sith Lord like that comes out of nowhere and what their reaction is to it. I'm curious how she found out. Is she going to be being tracked down by Inquisitors again? Maybe, and Darth Vader was leading the Inquisitors at the, early on. I think there's a lot of possibilities.
Well, adding on to the possibilities of how she found out, is it possible that Ahsoka knew but was just in denial until Malachor? Like, her exchange with Maul and how he said Anakin's the new apprentice, and then, she hears about Darth Vader, who is the apprentice of the Emperor. And she feels Anakin in these moments, but, is in denial of him actually being the one. And then when she fights him on Malachor, it's like, this is like the worst thing that could possibly happen. It's like, it's true. So, I'm on
it's impossible.
Yeah, I'm on the camp that thinks that Ahsoka had known, but never really accepted it. And so a Force ghost appearing to Ahsoka now, kind of, and this is a shameless plug for a fanfic that I am doing, an audio drama, Echoes of the Past. It actually lines up with how I've portrayed their reunion. Spoiler alert for the story, but hold on, I gotta process this really quickly, because everything that I'm writing in Echoes of the Past has thus far proven true. When I watched The Mandalorian and heard Cobb Vanth talk about what happened to the Mandalorians, heard Bo-Katan speak on it, I'm like, I wrote this in the prologue or in chapter 1 of my book Echoes of the Past, trying to explain where the Mandalorians were ever since the Clone Wars. And now I'm writing. Now, if you don't want spoilers, you can shut down for like the next 10 seconds. I'm writing that Ahsoka helped Rey through the World Between Worlds when they separated, and was like, come find me after you get out. And then like, I will. And then Ezra bolts. Ahsoka finds her own tunnel, or her own exit. She runs into the portal to Rey, and that's when Rey is like, be with me. And she goes, let the Force guide you like it guided us. And then she's like, all right, I gotta go. But then now, like, this reunion with Hayden appearing in Ahsoka, it's just like in my book. She's on another planet. She is being an independent Jedi, not a Jedi, but an independent, fighter, freedom fighter. And Anakin shows up to her and it says, you've grown up, Snips. And then, lots of emotions and stuff like that happen in that scene. But, I mean,
yeah, I love in the Ahsoka book. She talks about how when you get to know someone, they get to essentially recognize each other's like signal through the Force. Mm-hmm. And after the Jedi Purge, she would reach out with the Force every now and then. So you don't want to get caught, but reach out to find anyone that she knows, and she was never able to find anyone. And of course, Anakin was on the dark side at that point, so he's not appearing to be the same person. So that reaction of, I also want to see her reaction when he returns to the light before he dies, if she felt that.
Yeah. That would be an interesting angle, especially if we have a flashback to Return of the Jedi in the Ahsoka show, where she's kind of like, she's on, let's just, for like, hypothetically, she's on, what is it called? Caladan or Corvus? Which one's the city? Which one's the planet? I don't remember. she's on that. She's there. She's sitting down. She's meditating, and like she feels Anakin return to like the Force. She feels his like energy signature, for lack of a better term. I want it. Yeah, like that's one of the things I want to see in the Ahsoka show for sure. Besides the Force lore that we're gonna get, that moment when she realized that Anakin was back. Oh man, that's gonna be incredible to see.
Yeah, is there any things that you're concerned or worried about happening in this? Anything that might go awry? You know, because we're tugging real close to people's heartstrings, and we're fitting a lot of stuff in a small space.
I can't really see anything. I mean, obviously, if it's like a Force Ghost and flashbacks, it's kind of self-contained. You can't really kind of go off the rails in that one. But do you have anything in mind that could potentially kind of take things in the wrong direction?
Not particularly. I feel like I just feel like sometimes, regardless of something's quality, if people want to like it, they'll like it. If they don't want to like it, they won't they won't like it. And that if something is different from how they viewed it with their nostalgia goggles, that, you know, certain things may be upsetting. I mean, we saw complaints about Ahsoka, you know, even though it was like literally the person that created her still writing her. We know it's consistent.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I just wanted to see if you saw any pitfalls. I personally don't. I'm along for the ride. You know me.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, that's what's unique about this situation, right? Is because Ahsoka doesn't exist in EU. So there's no kind of like expectations for her. There's no like, oh, where's Luke and Mara Jade? Like, Ahsoka doesn't exist on those stories. And thus, like, there's the disconnect between continuity between the first 6 and Clone Wars versus what the authors wrote for NJO and the New Republic back in the EU days. So Filoni's creator of Ahsoka. Filoni's continuing her story. I think he's the mastermind. He knows what her story is going to be, how to fit her into the current continuity. And there's absolutely, I mean, I'm hoping there's absolutely no way you can use like, this isn't what I expected, when there's no like precedent.
There's no expectation.
Yes. There's no stories of her in the EU. And I'm happy that they're continuing with her story anyway, because quite frankly, if people had their way with the EU, we wouldn't be able to explore Ahsoka, and Ahsoka is a beloved character now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope that they choose wisely in terms of inserting Hayden into Ahsoka, but I have all the faith in the world that Filoni will find the most gracious way to insert Hayden or Anakin into Ahsoka, and it'll make sense.
All right. Well, in Filoni we trust. I'm also hoping that we get some more details on this Disney Day, November 12th. We'll definitely be covering that as well, so you better believe it.
We will be. I will be. I don't know. I'll invite you to it, but I will be live streaming as Disney Day is happening, just as I did last year, when I got all excited about seeing these first looks and being like, no, they're not showing anything. But we'll be around to talk about it live.
Well, yeah, but I mean, of course, the diet persists because I was also live streaming it, just not with you. So, yeah, we will definitely be breaking down everything we can. Yeah, and I'm super excited. But yeah, that wraps up this episode of the Dyad Reacts. And please join us for Dyad in the Force, which is Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and for the High Ground podcast, which is Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you know when we post new videos. Darth Chaco, youtube.com/Darth Chaco. That's where the High Ground podcast is. Go follow him and subscribe. And yeah, that's it. On to the next one.
For Light and for Life,
we are all the Republic.
And may the Force be with you.